a bird! It's a bigger bird! Wrong! It's man on the internet!
Hello everyone, I'm the man on the internet, and I have opinions. Because I'm probably best known right now for making Undertale the musical, a couple of people have asked me what my favorite songs from Undertale are. And well, many years after Undertale the musical's actually been done, I figure it's high time to actually tell everyone. It's actually not that many years, but shh. Before I share my opinions, and everyone starts arguing about my opinions, just a couple rules. These are songs from Undertale itself, not Undertale the musical. Undertale the musical, I love all my babies, you can't possibly expect me to rank them! Also, this is just songs from Undertale, not Deltarune. And if you think I missed one of your favorites, feel free to comment about it. That being said, let's start with... Number 10! Dummy! Undertale's a game of many memorable characters and memorable boss fights. Except for these guys. Rip and Skip. They're overshadowed by the other gay couple, and by being next to Muffin. One of my favorite boss fights in the game is against the Mad Dummy, if only because it's pretty different from the rest of the gameplay. Sure, he's not really foreshadowed that much, and he doesn't really come up again. Miss me with that Mad Mew Mew stuff, I am not talking about Mad Mew Mew today. But the fact that the fight takes the usual dodge attacks to attack back gameplay, and escalates it to you can't directly damage him, you have to dodge so that the attacks hit him instead, that's unique among the Undertale bosses, and that more than helps set them apart, because it's just plain fun. And at the end of the day, that's why I like Dummy's theme. It's just plain fun. It also helps that it's pretty catchy. The fact that Ghost Fight happened way earlier kind of set the beat in your head, but Dummy taking that beat and cranking it into overdrive is what really sets this track apart from Ghost Fight. Spider Dance also has the same beat. I just prefer Dummy. I had way more fun with that fight than Muffet. Sorry, sweetie. Do you get it, sweetie? Because baked goods. I am clever. Like, comment, and subscribe. Number 9! A lot of the songs on this list are going to be battle themes, if only because those are the ones I remember most and the ones that won't leave my head. They're the catchiest, they're the most fun. But the overworld themes are also really good. They're especially good at transporting you to the whole other world that is the underground. And for my money, there's nothing better than Waterfall. Waterfall! As you go through the Waterfall area, there are two main overworld themes, Quiet Water and this. And this is the perfect backdrop as you go through those swamps. The color palette is just phenomenal, and the music just makes it all the more eerie, otherworldly, mysterious. But there's also a little bit of hope to counteract the mystery that this song provides. And the scene where you and Monster Kid are looking out at the castle out in the distance, probably holding the umbrella. You might not be holding the umbrella at that point. It's just gorgeous. Honestly, what sets Waterfall ahead of the others, like Another Medium, The Ruins, or Snowy, Waterfall is the only music track out of those that made me actually want to stop and listen, rather than keep going to appreciate the music. Snowy didn't do either of those things. Snowy's probably towards the bottom of my list, honestly. Rip and Skip ice level. Number 8! Battle Against the True Hero! Battle Against the True Hero is one of those tracks that just gets you pumped. And you had better be, because you are going to need every last bit of adrenaline, focus, and... I might as well, it's an Undertale pun, determination to get through the Undying the Undying fight. The other fights in Genocide, the ones that are unique to it, well, I say the other fights, but there's only one, and we all know what that one is. So let's just call it the other fight in the Genocide run relies more on breaking the rules of the game that have been set up in terms of how battle works. Multiple hits per attack, you don't get the first turn, he basically will not sit still, etc. Undying the Undying doesn't need to break the rules. She's just there to kick your ass. It starts off slow enough, a simple piano as Undying the Undying actually starts to take form. But then, the trumpets kick in, and everything goes wild. Occasionally, the track will slow down to a more low-key section to highlight the tragedy of the whole Genocide run, and the tragic hero nature of Undyne, who is already dead, but is continuing to fight you to protect everyone she knows and loves. But it rarely lets you have that reflection for more than a couple of seconds. It's a kick-ass theme for a kick-ass fight, and it's probably the last point in a genocide run you're going to have any amount of legitimate fun.
Number 7! It's showtime!
There was no song that made me immediately understand a character faster than It's Showtime for Mettaton. Crashing through the wall, hosting a game show, this immediately made me fall in love with the character. It's gaudy, but it's bold and brash and it's out there, much like the main entertainer himself. Every cheesy game show theme song cliche that you can think of, it's all rolled into here if you listen hard enough. And honestly, I couldn't love him more for it. The man's a performer, he is bold, he is out there. There's a lot more to Mettaton than, being this. But honestly, just having this fill my headphones after Alphys' theme, which also told me a lot about her character, but I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. Whereas with Mettaton, I was like, oh my god, I want more no matter where this goes. It's almost as if I like Mettaton for some reason. Throughout all the Snowdin area, the snowy theme, which I only just remembered when recording this, is consistently interrupted by Papyrus's theme. Nyeh. You'll get used to it every time you see him. Well, I guess not every time. I think there are a couple of times where Snowy keeps playing anyway. So when you finally fight Papyrus and Nyeh starts back up, you think, oh, this is going to be another silly joke fight like the rest of Papyrus's joke puzzles. It's not. Here comes Bone Trussell.
Bone Trussell!
The first time I played Undertale, I died to Papyrus more than any other boss. I know you can't technically die to Papyrus, but I lost the fight. That counts. Now shut up. So I got to listen to, learn, and appreciate a whole lot. And let me tell you, this is so much better than Nyeh. Not just because it's a higher energy battle-themey version of Nyeh, but I feel it portrays Papyrus's personality a little bit better. Where Nyeh is simple and a bit goofy, Bone Trussell goes deeper and shows that he's actually got the energy, the will, and the drive to go out and be a member of the Royal Guard, be your friend, do whatever the heck he wants to because he deserves it. He is a good boy. Bone Trussell is what really makes you see there is a lot more to Papyrus than what you saw in the hour or so of your life that was taken up beforehand. Unless you're a speedrunner, in which case you just mashed the enter key, I guess.
Number 5! Death by Glamour!
Speaking of being true to a character, and speaking of loving Mettaton, Death by Glamour. Death by Glamour was an amazing song, and was actually the first song I ever wrote lyrics for. It inspired me that much. So of course, it's just at number 5 on the list. I love Mettaton. Anyway, this, when Mettaton finally transforms into Mettaton EX, is a banging song. I don't know how else to describe it. It just makes you want to dance with him as he just flails his arms and legs all over the place. There's also hints of his other theme songs in there, including It's Showtime, which is just 2 steps down, so obviously this one's gotta be in here somehow. Toby, you mad genius, connecting every song somehow. Now that Mettaton's transformed into a body he appreciates way more than a calculator on wheels, the song is just so much more expressive to go along with it. It changes movement and mood frequently, and I love every single bit of it. It's big, it's out there, it's flamboyant, it's even less gaudy than It's Showtime was, so that automatically gives it some points. Every time I hear this song, I want to stop whatever I'm doing and just headbang or dance or go to town somehow, which makes it terrible for background music, but amazing in terms of memorability. What can I say? Death by Glamour. It made me write a full musical. But what could possibly be over it if this was my main source of inspiration?
Number 4! Fear of Justice!
I didn't fall in love with Undyne as a character as quickly as I fell in love with Mettaton, but once this theme kicked in, I knew that this was going to be an amazing, amazing character. Toby Fox described the song as being punched in the face with heroism when he mentioned that he scrapped an old version because it didn't sound enough like that. You know what? I agree. It's being punched in the face with awesome, as some other people in my work would describe it. The big, blasting trumpet notes are punches in the face that inspire you to go out and fight, or just run, because that's how you're supposed to solve it in a pacifist path. And all in all, it feels like an anime opening that gets shuffled into a workout playlist. The type where you're like, I don't know how it got here, but you know exactly how it got here. You added it yourself, because Spear of Justice is a punch in the face that gets you pumped and motivated. Twilight fills the room. It seems as though your journey has come to an end. Neither of you wants to fight, but this is the way the path has gone. Welcome to Asgore's theme. Asgore! In any other game, this would be a final boss theme. The big epic battle against the Demon King, with guitars in the background, pianos, probably chant, but there wasn't any space in the sound chip for it. But Asgore is different. You've heard bits and pieces of Asgore's story, especially on the walk up to his throne room. And when you see him, you immediately understand this is no mad demon king. This is no mad tyrant who has ordered the taking of my soul. This is a sad and broken man who knows that someone has to die in order to save his kingdom. And sometimes, that someone has to be him. The song almost gets funereal in tone in a couple of places, which helps the player continue to feel bad after their trip through the new home and being judged by Sans husbando tale. But the rest of the time, it's got this big, sweeping, overarching feeling of, this is it. This is the final confrontation, no backing out now. Such a pity that it's not actually the final confrontation. Number 2! Picture this. You've been fighting against this flower-like eldritch abomination that moves and looks like nothing else in the game. All hope is lost because the attacks just keep coming in insane patterns. You have freedom to move, but it seems like nowhere is safe. And every couple of seconds, he summons a soul with its own attack pattern to mess with you. Sure, you get healed, but who knows if you'll survive long enough to see the next one. This could go on for a very long time, depending on how skilled you are at the game. And then, finally, you fought all 6 souls. And then, the finale starts to play. Finale! Yes, I know, Hopes and Dreams / Save the World is technically the final boss of Undertale, assuming you go for a neutral then pacifist route like most people do. But Finale, I just like way more as a song. Instantly, the mood shifts from horror to panic to genuine belief that you can do this. It doesn't matter how many times Omegaflowy has knocked you down, this is where you get back up and where you fight back. And as Finale builds and builds as you fight the creature, you know that you can, because finally your attacks are doing something. Finally there's more healing, and finally you're seeing an ending. Which is also not on this list, unfortunately. Finale has truly earned its name and its place. It's the end of your journey, and by God have you earned it. Of course, it's not actually the end, because there's replays and different endings and yada yada yada, but you know what? For the comparatively limited number of times you're going to hear Finale in a game of Undertale, it's going to stick with you for a while. Before we get to number 1, I should probably address what a lot of you are thinking. Wait, did he say that he liked Finale a lot better than Hopes and Dreams? But Hopes and Dreams wasn't on this list. Well, Hopes and Dreams, Save the World, and his theme, all of Asriel's stuff, it's really good when taken as a whole. It's a fantastic emotional journey of a song that is pretty rockin', and I think perfectly fits the boss fight for Asriel. But when taken apart, I just don't feel like they have the same impact. It feels like one song feeds naturally into the other. I mean, obviously, Burn and Despair comes in between Hopes and Dreams and Save the World, but, I mean, they're 2 parts of the same coin here. 3 parts of the same coin, because his theme is also there. So yeah, I love the Asriel sequence. I love going in to save your friends. I love dodging this rainbow goat boy and hugging him at the end, and the sweet release of the pacifist ending afterwards. I just don't feel as if putting all of those songs together in one would be fair compared to the others. If I did, that would probably be put around middle to lower end of the list, pushing off Dummy. Sorry, Dummy. But I'm trying to include individual songs here, hence why Finale got in, but Your Best Nightmare did not. And with that, I think I'm clear and there are no other questions. Oh, look, there's an elephant in the room. Hi, Sharon, how are you doing? You know, you are so right, Sharon. Silly me to forget about talking about Megalovania. I mean, it's an Undertale video, Sans gets views, and Megalovania? It's okay. I mean, I like this song, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm hating it to be cool and edgy, because hating something that other people like is automatically the way to prove you're cool, and definitely not just make you look like a jackass who defines yourself based on what you hate rather than what you love. It's a work that Toby Fox has been reusing and refining through the years, and honestly, it's good enough that he can get away with it. But the thing is, I think it's fine in the context it's used in, when you're fighting Sans. I would say spoilers, but for some people, fighting Sans is all they know of that happens in Undertale. The other songs stuck with me through engrossing me in the character, in the world, or just being plain fun. Megalovania didn't do that. Megalovania made me think, oh wow, this is a song I'm going to be hearing a lot because this fight is something. In my opinion, it doesn't really support Sans' character and his dialogue as much as some of the other songs did. Like, Spear of Justice you could definitely see playing in the background as Undyne's making proclamations. Bone Trussell as Papyrus is making his proclamations. Death by Glamour, someone probably put in a boombox to play that while Mettaton's doing his show, honestly. For Sans, I don't know. I'm just not seeing it, guys. I'd probably put it at, like, number 15 or something.
Number 15 or something! Megalovania!
Yeah, we've done that joke. We are moving on to number 1.
Undertale!
If you're going to name a song after the title of whatever media it's in, it had better be a damn good one. And Undertale delivers. As you walk through the new home, you hear this calm, relaxing piano, quite similar to the one you heard in Toriel's house. Then the monsters start popping up and telling you a story. You think, okay, what's all this about? I mean, it's interesting lore, I guess I'll listen in. And as it keeps going, and keeps getting sadder and sadder, and you keep getting more and more invested, the music continues to build. More and more orchestrations, more and more instruments keep getting added on to the simple theme, but no matter what, it always ends on that same note. You expect it to go higher or lower at some points, but no, it keeps going back to that same point. Kind of like players who play Undertale, now that I think about it. So as you walk out of New Home and look over what remains of Asgore's glorious kingdom and the music swells, you feel this sense of pride as the music builds, immediately followed by this sense of loss. The loss of a child, the loss of innocence, the loss of hope. And then the song reaches its finale, finally hitting a different end note. And all is quiet. And you're left to reflect, outside of that judgment hall, or inside it depending on how fast you got there, on your own journey, and what you've done in Undertale. It's a sad song and engrossed me in the world and I love it.